here this morning with Frank Costello here at our Wounded War Wagon. This project actually got started back in 2010. We wanted to do something for a veteran here at our World Percheron show, and Frank become real active and involved, and I'm going to let him tell you about the wagon.
Well, I really, in order to do it, I need to go back to the beginning. Our town fathers in the town where we live and my family grew up asked us to do a parade for Memorial Day with our 6-horse hitch and a big hitch wagon, which we accepted to do. But I got a phone call about 3 or 4 days before and said, we got a bunch of politicians we want to put on the wagon, the mayor and the first selectman and whatnot. And when I heard that, I said, you know, I'd have to use the manure spreader. I couldn't use the hitch wagon. So I told them at that point, I said, go to the VFW, go to local American Legion, get 10 vets, honorably discharged or active, and we'd be more than pleased to do the parade. And that's what happened. But when we were at the staging area, some of these older fellas came. 4 of them couldn't get on the wagon, even up the ladder. We had to call a rescue squad. They came, had 4 big strapping guys, some of our local farm guys that are used to working and lifting, helped the fellas in, and when we finished, helped them out. But that night, it just started working on my mind. You ought to build a purpose wagon, something that's disability equipped, wheelchair lift, stairs with handles, and so forth. Oh, it started to evolve from that. I kind of like to buy stuff on the internet at auctions. It gets to be a little bit habit forming. And I was looking for a gear that had a military background, running gear. So I found one going up on auction, all rusty, and happened to be up in Alaska. And I bid on the running gear. They called it a multi-purpose trailer. I bid on it and I got it for $1. So I said, well, nothing ventured, nothing gained. I mean, if I can't get it, I only lose $1. It's not going to hurt nothing. But I called up the sergeant. Well, I emailed actually the sergeant major who was in charge of the equipment disposition, or disposal, I should say. Sorry. And explained to him what we were doing, and he says, why don't you send me a few sketches or what have you so I can see what you're up to. And I did, and I wrote him a little letter. Well, lo and behold, he was able to get it to California, and from California they got it to Bethesda, Maryland. And then from Bethesda, Maryland, I was able to go on one of the websites and found a trucker that was coming this way and bought the running gear up for $400, so we were pretty pleased to get it home. And then it just started cutting steel off it. We cut just about a ton of steel off the gear, and then I started, when you do something like that, you really got to start in the back and design the whole thing around the wheelchair lift. At that point, the design was really a little sketchy, but as I started doing a little research and finding pictures and so forth, I liked this front area here and the seat design, and that would have been an earlier type of military vehicle that they used during the Civil War and right up in through the Indian Wars. After the Indian Wars, at that point, Studebaker was very instrumental in coming out with support vehicles for the military, horse-drawn, generally with 4 mules. Well, the basic design, we wanted to make a tribute wagon. It's not totally authentic, but we wanted to get the feel for a military vehicle. So I just did a little research, found a bunch of pictures, and designed it around the pictures. All right. Well, this is the original concept drawing that we put together, and I think the final product came pretty close to what we wanted. One of the feelings I've had, and I had a dear, lovely man in my life, my father-in-law. His plane was Katie's Boys. The crew was shot down over Germany, May 8th, 1944. So when the wagon was completed, a friend of mine who's a Marine vet hand-painted that. I'm good. This whole project has been a very emotional experience. The first night we went out, I don't think there was a dry eye either on the carriage or in the audience. The event, the way it came together, the horses, the people, and the vets were so thankful that they were being recognized in this manner. Yeah, well, the whole thing is about our service members, whether they've been wounded and Purple Heart recipients or whether they served. They're all welcome in our program. It's just something that I really, really wanted to see done, and I'm real happy to have done it.
90 pounds, suffering greatly for our country. If you have been here with our performances, you will know that the War Wagon is a true labor of love. If you would stand and salute our with the War Wagon. And ladies and gentlemen, our War Wagon, the least we can do to honor the vets making their way around the arena. Thank you once again to Howard Goodyear. We will take our vets around one more time. We salute you, we tip our hats to you. You make a difference in this world, ladies and gentlemen. Ladies and gentlemen, would you give Mr. Frank Costella a nice round of applause? An U.S. Navy from the Vietnam conflicts from Pennsylvania. Mr. Ed Bullis in the Army, Spec 3, between 1956 and 1964 from New Jersey. From New York. Mr. Dave Schubert, E4, in the Army during the Cuban crisis from Minnesota. And he has now created this beautiful war wagon that you see in front of us, dedicated to honoring our vets. As he makes his way around, you will see that he has some special riders, and we will recognize those riders. The veterans riding with him have served in all conflicts from Vietnam to the Cold Wars, and they are getting a first-class ride in our war wagon with the team of 4 up of Percherons. The money that we raised during that auction was going to be going to a wounded warrior. As we salute our veterans and those fighting today, we thought it would be very fitting that we found and supported one wounded warrior in this area. The soldier that we selected is Sergeant Kareem Francis. And what a story for Sergeant Francis. You will see the gate going down. We are going to welcome and use the gate going down for entering into the arena, Sergeant Francis. Sergeant Kareem Francis, a recipient of the Purple Heart Medal for wounds suffered in combat. He joined the Army in 2009. He was shot in the spine and paralyzed in 2013 in Afghanistan. He was born in Brooklyn, New York. Kareem graduated from Heritage Hill High School in Lynchburg, Virginia in 2003, where he excelled in track and football. He joined the United States Army in order to help pay off his student loans, but ended up making the service his career choice. Just 5 months into Sergeant Francis' second tour in Afghanistan, his life was changed forever when he was shot twice in the back during an ambush on his platoon. One of the bullets struck him in his lumbar spine, paralyzing him from the waist down. Later, when questioned about the events by a reporter, he said, "It's all for the good, I guess. God makes no mistakes. Everything happens for a reason. I think he just put me in this place." Sergeant Francis' long road to recovery took him to the Walter Reed Army Medical Center, where he is still receiving treatments today. He has advanced from being wheelchair dependent to being able to move with a walker, and he attributes the progress he's made to the loving support of his new wife. They were just married September 23rd of this year. His parents and his stepbrother. Ladies and gentlemen, we are going to welcome in to the arena our World Percheron staff. We have a check in the amount of $2,000. On behalf of our Congress, we want to present that to your local wounded warrior who has earned the Purple Heart and who has fought for our freedoms. Would you please welcome into the arena our sergeant today, Sergeant Francis. You have taken this small project, made it grow into something that we can all be proud of. You did an amazing job, Frank, with the War Wagon. You come in here each and every night with the enthusiasm. You support these veterans. You want to give them rides. It is such a tremendous thing. So, Mr. Frank Costello, on behalf of all of us here at the World Percheron Congress, thank you for your dedication to our warriors. Mr. Frank Costello, as the gates go open and our